Hello and welcome to Sunset TV. You're watching Today in Parliament with the host Rajya. Let's take a look at the top headlines. Well, Rajya Sabha adjourned signed eye. Upper House clocked over 90% productivity in the budget session, informs Chairman Naidu. And Lok Sabha clocks 114% productivity in 24 sittings. Rajya Sabha passes National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021. Finance Minister says bill will facilitate development of derivative market and other financial instruments. And finally, Rajya Sabha bids farewell to 3 retiring members: Abdul Wahab of IUML, KK Ragesh of CPM and Vyalawa Ravi of the Congress Party. Chairman Naidu praises their contributions, says the House will miss them. Well, the news in details. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu adjourned House signed eye after passing National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021. The House also bid farewell to 3 retiring members from Kerala. Chairman Naidu informed the House that clocked 99% productivity in the first session and 85% in the second part of the session. The second part of budget session, which began on 8th of March, was scheduled to end on April 8th.
This House functioned for a total of 104 hours and 23 minutes against the total scheduled time of 116 hours and 31 minutes during these 23 sittings. This, in effect, means the productivity of this House, including both the parts of this budget session, has been about 90%, while the productivity of the first part of the session has been 99.6%. Productivity of the second part of the session that began on March 8th comes to about 85%. A total of 21 hours and 26 minutes of the House has been lost due to disruptions during this session. Comforting, however, is the fact that as against this loss, the House sat beyond the scheduled time for about 14 hours and 28 minutes to complete the legislative and other business. I am happy to inform you that high productivity witnessed during the last 4 sessions since June 2019, 249th, 250, 251st and 252nd sessions have continued in this session as well. As a result, overall productivity of the last 4 sessions and this session comes to about 94%.
Well, Lok Sabha too was adjourned signed eye this morning. The session clocked 114% productivity in 24 sittings that spread over 132 hours. The discussion on the motion of thanks on the President's address lasted almost 17 hours. Lok Sabha passed 18 bills during the budget session.
During this session, 17 government bills were introduced. In all, 18 bills were passed. Some of the important bills which were passed are the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021, the National Capital Territory of Delhi Laws Special Provisions Second Amendment Bill 2021, the Mines and Minerals Development Regulation Amendment Bill 2021, the Constitution Schedule Caste Order Amendment Bill 2021, the Insurance Amendment Bill 2021, the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2021, the Marine Aids to Navigation Bill 2021, the Finance Bill 2021, the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021, and the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. 84 star questions were orally answered. A total of 583 matters of urgent public importance were raised by the members after question hour and by sitting late in the evening. A total of 392 matters under Rule 377 were taken up. The House also held a discussion on one calling attention regarding women empowerment, which was later converted into short-duration discussion under Rule 193. The standing committees presented 163 reports to the House. As many as 48 statements under Direction 73A and 4 suo motu statements were made by the ministers.
Well, Parliament passed the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021, with the Upper House passing it today. The bill paves way for creation of development finance institution which will help fund long-term infrastructure project in the country. As part of National Infrastructure Pipeline, the government plans to invest Rs 111 trillion in 7,671 infrastructure projects in next 4 years to 2024. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the institution aims to address market falters and stem from the long term, low margin and risky nature of infrastructure financing. Lok Sabha had passed the bill earlier this week.
Professionally run, the government will appoint only the chairman. But the institutional arrangement for the appointments of members or the MDs and the DMDs will be done and recommended by the Bank Board Bureau, the BBB, and it will be vetted and finalized by the Nomination and Remuneration Committee of the board. So the appointments will be done by the board and not by the government, so it will have to be professionally run. Clause 26 in Chapter 6 of the Act itself, which is before us for consideration, and there you will see in paragraph 5, and I read that as a quotation from here, the institution, which is this institution that we are considering today, the institution shall furnish to the central government and the Reserve Bank within 4 months from the date on which its accounts are closed and balanced, a copy of its balance sheet and accounts, together with a copy of the auditor's report and a report of the working of the institution during the relevant year. Honorable Member Satish Mishra did raise why only 5 years. No, every year. But the report later by a third party is on once in 5 years. But here we are saying every year. So the working of the institution during the relevant year, and the central government shall, as soon as maybe after they have received by it, cause the same to be laid before each house of the Parliament. We are getting that report, audited report, to be placed in each of the House of the Parliament. Now, the institution shall furnish from time to time to the central government and to the Reserve Bank of India such returns as the central government or the Reserve Bank may require. Every time the government would want something from them, they will demand of it, and it will have to be submitted by them.
What has prompted this reversal of path, of going from the idea of a company under the Companies Act to a company sanctioned by an act of Parliament? This is the first important question that the House must address. Why a statutory corporation and not a company under the Companies Act? Second, sir, this bill is a very ambitious bill. The Finance Minister in her speech has already outlined what this organization will do. She has provided 20,000 crores in this budget, and she is hoping that in 5 years from now, the loan portfolio will be 5 lakh crores. The initial paid-up capital of this company is going to be 1 lakh crores, and the government shall hold, shall, not may, shall hold a minimum of 26%. This is a government company. Huge resources are going to be mobilized. No oversight whatsoever. No CBI, no CVC, no CAG. I can understand CBI and CVC, but why no CAG?
A separate financial dedicated institution is required to propel the economy, and today I'm sure the financial market will be extremely happy, and especially when they see the bill which embodies all the relevant aspects of a financial development, financial institution which should be having to ensure that it pays plays a very important and pivotal role in developing and financing the infrastructure space.
Sir, this DFI NABID is expected to create a lending portfolio of at least $5 trillion. 5 trillion rupees, 5 trillion rupees in about 3 years. This is a huge sum, sir, which will potentially revolutionize Indian infrastructure, generate jobs, boost employment, and lead to a virtuous cycle of economic growth in our country.
Sir, the bill also provides for any person to set up DFI by applying to RBI. Setting up a new DFI in India through budgetary and legislative measures is not a difficult task, but big challenge will be emerge once established. It should ensure that it will be well capitalized and well managed and remain committed to its distinct goal and core values, sir.
I would like to know from the Honorable Minister whether DFI covers 1. Social infrastructure such as education, healthcare, water supply, urban infrastructure, green infrastructure, and digital infrastructure such as automation technologies, artificial intelligence, 5G, blockchain technologies, etc. Or does it focus only on conventional sectors like power, roads, telecom, etc.?
बड़ी कंपनियां आए, ठीक है, देश का विकास होना चाहिए, लेकिन देश के जो बेरोजगार हैं, यहाँ देश के लोग हैं जो चाहते हैं सरकारी उस पर ज़्यादा विश्वास है उनका, तो उसमें उनको ध्यान देने की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि इस बिल में जो सबसे बड़ी बात हमने कही है कि सब जांचों से बाहर रखा गया है, इसलिए इसको सेलेक्ट कमेटी भेजने की आवश्यकता है.
At a time when the government is bent on privatizing some of the public sector banks, creating a sense of anxiety and anger among the 10 lakhs employees in the banking sector, sir, the current bill does not contain adequate provisions of National Bank for financing infrastructure and developments, accountability to the stakeholders and the public at large.
आपने बजट में भी कहा था कि 7,000 प्रोजेक्ट्स हैव बीन आइडेंटिफाइड अंडर द नेशनल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पाइपलाइन. मैं माननीय वित्त मंत्री साहिबा से जानना चाहूँगा कि इसमें से बिहार के हिस्से में कितना है. सन 47 के बाद से बिहार को उसका हिस्सा, उसका हक नहीं मिला है. बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बातें हुई, लेकिन बिहार सर, और मैं फिर दोहराता हूं कि बिहार के विकास की भूख को इस पाइपलाइन में कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स लीजिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में और उस भूख को खत्म करिए.
I agree with the honorable member Jafar ji in as much as he says that the timing today is most propitious for tapping foreign direct investment, especially when many investors, several investors are withdrawing from China and looking for opportunities elsewhere. And also, today the global economy condition is such that very large amount of funds are sloshing around in the global economy, and we must take advantage of that.
Go through section 37. What is mentioned here is, sir, that the loans and advances given, its validity will not be challenged by anyone. As Jairam Ramesh ji has said, it is not subject to any scrutiny, neither by the CAG nor by other independent authority or the surveillance. And that's why what is that? No, it will not be challenged by any the validity of the this. I fail to understand why this section 37 it has been said like this.
Madam, every government needs the strength to implement any infrastructure projects. Madam, if a project is stalled due to any reason, and if it is not received with specific time frame, it will become stressed assets. The bank which finances the projects will face the issue of NPA. There are various bottlenecks in the infrastructure projects implementation. There are several instances various international funding agencies pull out from the projects.
With respect to clause 5, where foreign investment, which is mentioned also in clause 22, with foreign investment to what extent multilateral institution has not been defined, and to what extent the foreign investment can be taken. It is entire 74%, or there will be some restriction onto that requires to be, the Honorable Finance Minister would obviously be having the answer.
Well, our correspondent Akhilesh Suman joins us live from the Parliament House complex. Akhilesh, many thanks for joining us. Both the houses were adjourned, Sinai, and the Parliament session has ended today. What were the main highlights or the takeaways of this session, if you'd like to list for our viewers? Akhilesh.
One of the major things that you can tell that this is the budget session, this was the budget session, and one of the major things that budget session has to do is that passing the budget. It was passed in two stages. One stage was the earlier, and after the recess we passed the finance bill. So you can tell the both the parts of budget was passed. That is the major highlight, and that is the main highlight of the budget session. Other than that, you can say that a motion of thanks to the presidential speech. That is also one of the major things, that president makes a speech, he formulates the policy, he also gives message to the people and parliamentarians for the next year. So it was also passed. It was a huge debate on the issues related to the governance, related to the government, also related to international issues concerning India, and it was passed successfully. But other than that, there are so many things that were discussed in the House, and standing committee meeting also took place in between the recess. And as you must have heard, Chairman Venkaiah Naidu speaking that in the recess period also there were standing committees meeting, and a standing committees meeting had given many recommendations, and the major highlight I can tell you that in this budget session, most of the action taken reports have been presented to Parliament, and
Absolutely.
This shows that how government accepts the recommendations made by Parliamentary Standing Committee, and that makes itself a mini Parliament. That how beyond what we see on the floor of the House, beyond that also parliamentarians discuss the working of ministries, discuss the issues, discuss even the demands of grants. So you can say that the motion of thanks, passing of budget in both the two stages, and the standing committee reports, that has been the three major highlights of this session, Rajat.
Right, absolutely, Akhilesh. Many thanks for joining us and, of course, updating us as to what was this session all about and significance of the budget session. Many thanks, Akhilesh, for covering this session throughout. Well, moving on, the upper house bid farewell to retiring members from Kerala today. These members would be retiring in the intervening period between the two sessions and the commencement of the next session. Indian Union Muslim League leader Abdul Wahab, Communist Party of India Marxist leader K.K. Ragesh, and the Congress Party's leader Vyalava Ravi are due to retire on April 21st. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu lauded the contribution of retiring members from Kerala.
We leaving the House, but their contribution will leave an indelible mark on this august institution, which the members as well as the newly elected members will continue to cherish and benefit from them. I place on record my heartfelt appreciation for the valuable contribution and service rendered by them to this august institution and to the society at large. The House will certainly miss their vivacious presence and their unwavering commitment to the issues pertaining to the state of Kerala and also to the national issues of importance. I wish the retiring members good health, happiness, and many more years of service to the nation. They are only retiring, but they are not tired.
The Congress Party has given me the opportunity to serve the people of our country as a member of Lok Sabha for 2 terms and Rajya Sabha for 4 terms. And between I became a cabinet minister for 8 years. I am very thankful to the Congress Party and the leader of Indira Gandhi and others for giving me this opportunity to serve our nation, the Mother India.
If Rajya Sabha is here, I will try to come again, and I hope so. And all my respect to you, especially being the chairman, gave me a lot of chances And I tried my level best as a member of parliament. I appreciate whatever political, ideological differences between Modi ji, but his one project which attracted me, this village adoption. This I have done my level best, and according to Government of India, I got the 5th rank in my this one, Sansad Adarsh Grama Yojana, this one.
Well, that's it in this edition of Parliament Today in Parliament. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Sansad TV. Goodbye.